So before the break, we did the general introduction about Dharma, and then we did the specific introduction into the Mahayana Dharma. So maybe just as a define some terms, right? Again, the Tibetans, they love etymology, okay? So Maha is great, Yana is vehicle, okay? So this text that we're about to get into belongs to the Mahayana class of teachings. And so, in general, vehicle, right? Vehicle, it takes someone from their current location to a particular destination. Right? Okay. So, you'll see this a lot in the Buddhist teachings. A lot of these, they call it the path. There's this talk of the vehicles. There are these analogies like this. But just like, and sometimes you'll see there's 9 vehicles. Sometimes you'll see 3 vehicles. But whatever the case, just like a vehicle can take someone from their current state to a certain destination, then there are different destinations along the spiritual path. Okay. So, Maha, right, the great vehicle, it's the method by which someone arrives at the destination of full enlightenment. Okay. Full enlightenment. So, when we talk about the great vehicle, great vehicle, what makes it great is, well, first, what we tried to do before the break is we set a very positive motivation. The motivation that we're doing this for the benefit of all sentient beings so we can become perfect Buddhas. And be the source of happiness and well-being for all living beings. Okay? So, because that motivation encompasses all beings, right? All beings, great, right? Great, vast. And since the cause is great, then the result is full enlightenment. Okay? You guys understand? So, this text then belongs to the Mahayana category of teachings, which give all of the methods, all the practices by which we can go from our current state all the way to complete enlightenment. So, yeah. So we have here the title of the text, the 37 Practices of Bodhisattvas. So Capuchin mentioned about Bodhisattva. Yes, you guys remember? Wow. Let's review. Okay. So remember, Bodhi is enlightenment, or awakening, right? And Sattva is being, So a Bodhisattva is a being who is not yet enlightened, but has an uncontrived, means a kind of spontaneous, spontaneously arising mind of bodhicitta. Okay? So bodhi, again, enlightenment, citta, mind. Okay? So bodhicitta is this altruistic intention to become fully enlightened for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay? So, yeah. So these bodhisattvas, and I'm not a bodhisattva, unfortunately. But these bodhisattvas then have this uncontrived. So you guys, Kathy, uncontrived. Okay, so is that your translator?
I don't know this word, sorry.
Okay. Okay. So what we did before the break. Remember when I was like, please guys think like this, right? That's to contrive or to. We go through a certain process of thinking, and then this mind that wishes to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings comes, right? Did you at least have that after some effort? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay? Anyway, that's what it is to contrive. It's not natural, right? But through a process of thinking and effort, then we can generate a mind like that. You see? But remember we were talking like habits? Yeah, our guitarists at the beginning have to put a lot of effort, and then it comes. See, as we continue to familiarize ourselves and meditate and practice and purify, then what happens? This mind, it will arise more easily, it'll arise more strongly, and it'll remain in the mind for longer. To the point where, without having to go through the steps of reasoning and thinking and effort, it arises spontaneously. How does that sound? So the analogy they use is like, when we're hungry, right? It's like, I need food, right? There's no, do I want food or not? There's no doubt. Yes? So, like that, these bodhisattvas, it's the hunger. It's the hunger. See, now although we define bodhicitta as the wish to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, actually, we'll get into this tomorrow. But you see, there's two wishes there, right? There's the wish to benefit all sentient beings, and then there's the wish to achieve enlightenment. Okay? So actually, the wish to benefit sentient beings, they call as the desire at the time of the cause of bodhicitta. Okay? Cause and effect, right? So at the time of the cause of bodhicitta, one has that mind of altruism, the wish to benefit others. Okay? Then, as great as that is, you look and you honestly assess yourself and you say, wait a minute, although I wish to liberate all sentient beings from suffering and lead them to the highest state of enlightenment, who am I? I myself am not freed of suffering. I have many faults myself. I have very limited ability to benefit others. Okay. But then, wait a minute. The Buddha, the one who has completely purified and abandoned all faults of the mind and perfectly developed all good qualities, if I were able to do that, to attain that state, then I would be in the best position to benefit sentient beings in a real meaningful way. You understand? So this is another very important thing we need to keep in mind at the beginning. You see, normally when we talk about bodhicitta, the wish to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. But, you see, enlightenment is not the end. It's the means to an end, right? The end is benefiting sentient beings. This we have to keep in mind always. See, if we could work perfectly for the benefit of others and not be enlightened, then enlightenment actually wouldn't be such a big deal. Do you understand? Right? So, instead of thinking, I need to become enlightened for the benefit of all sentient beings, you put the more important one first. I need to benefit sentient beings. Therefore I'm going to get enlightened. See? You understand? A little bit, different flavor. But it's an important one to keep in mind. Okay? So anyway, this mind of bodhicitta has those two wishes, right? The wish to benefit all sentient beings is the desire at the time of the cause, and the wish to gain enlightenment is the desire at the time of actual bodhicitta. Okay? So these are our stages where we practice. We first have to practice that altruism, this wish to benefit others, and not just to benefit others, but take the personal responsibility to do it ourselves. Then when we see we don't have the currently we don't have the ability to do so, but the Buddhas do, therefore I must become a Buddha myself. Okay? So, these bodhisattvas have this altruistic wish to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings in an uncontrived way. But they're not yet Buddhas. They're not yet. Okay. So as wonderful as it is to have this naturally, spontaneously arising wish of bodhicitta, not enough. Right? Because look, perfect Buddha's source of all well-being and happiness arise from accomplishing the excellent teachings. Right? So, the attainment of Buddhahood has causes, has conditions, right? It's an effect. So you need the causes to get the effect, right? If you want a mango tree, you need to assemble all the causes, right? Of course, most important one is a mango seed, right? But also you need, soil, water, fertilizer, heat, like this. So here, this mind of bodhicitta is the seed for the attainment of enlightenment. But we need to not just have the seed, but we need to engage in the practices that lead to it. We need to water that seed. We need to fertilize it. We have to make sure that a cow doesn't come and eat the sprout. You understand? So then, you see, as great as the mind of bodhicitta is, then the bodhisattvas aren't just satisfied with that mind, but need to engage in the practices. So, in general, there's many ways to present the practices of the bodhisattvas. We have, the 6 perfections, the 4 means of gathering disciples, many different presentations. But here, we have 37 practices. So, it's great. Just a few pages. You can memorize this text. Have you finished memorizing yet? Joking. But she wants to. That's important. No, I haven't memorized it either. So anyway, that's the title. The 37 Practices of Bodhisattvas. Okay. So, there is a great ancient monastery in northern India called Vikramalashila. And the tradition of the masters of Vikramalashila is that anytime a text was taught, they would teach according to certain outlines or topics. Okay? So first they would talk about the greatness of the author of the text. Okay? Then they would talk about the greatness of the teaching. And then they would talk about how to listen to and explain the teaching. So, in this regard, I will be traditional. Okay? In this regard, I'll be traditional. I'm not always traditional. But regarding this outline, I will be. So let me also just say, I mentioned as I was coming in and paying homage that I did receive this teaching from His Holiness Dalai Lama. He just gave it in Bodh Gaya not last month, in December. Kati, you were there.
31st.
Yes.
31st December.
31st?
December?
Oh, December, yeah. December. Yeah. But, he did it in what? A day and a half, maybe, right? 2 days. So I wanted to just share with you that, this is the first teaching I received from one of my very kindest gurus, Geshe Sonam Rinchen. When I first moved to Dharamsala in 2005, and Geshe-la, every day, one verse. Just one verse. So we got to go very much in depth. And, this translation that you all have is by his translator, Ruth Sonam, who is, one of the very, very good translators. And, yeah. So anyway, Geshe-la, yeah, don't ask me about how kind he was to me, okay? Not yet. But I remember when he taught this text, he first talked about the biography of the author. Excuse me, my allergies. So you have the author here, Gyaltse Togme Zangpo, right? Gyaltse. So Gyaltse, you're getting a free Tibetan and Sanskrit sprinkled in there too, okay? But Gyal is victor, victorious one, means Buddha. Se means like a child or the son of the Buddha. So Gyaltse is another epithet or a name for a bodhisattva. Okay. So this author of this text, Gyaltse Togme Zangpo, his name was Togme Zangpo, but since he was a bodhisattva, he was given the name Gyaltse. So my own guru, when he taught this, he gave a brief biography of Gyaltse Dongme Zangpo. And in the other commentaries that I've read, I've never seen this again. So I'm going to share it with you. It just gives you an idea, right, about what kind of master he was. Okay? So he's a Tibetan master. And, in Tibet, it gets quite cold. So one winter, he had his winter shawl, right? It became infested with lice. Yeah. Okay? And then this master got very sick because the lice, they would bite him, drink his blood. He got very sick, very weak. At that time, he had many students. And as his health declined, his students said, "Can we get you a new shawl? Or let's get rid of that shawl. What are you doing?" Right? So, Tome Zampo said, whoa. These lice, these sentient beings are depending on me for their life. Do you understand? So, if I just put this shawl out in the cold, they'll all die. So no. Kept wearing the shawl. His health still, very, very low, very sick. He remained that way. So then his students continued to, beseech, urge. Please, he was getting very close to death. Please, we need you. We need you. Please just get rid of the shawl. Get back to health. Right? Is there anything we can do? Is there anything we can do for your health? So he called all the students together and he said, okay, yes, there is. There is something we can do. Okay? So, let's all pray. Let's all pray together. And he said, this is how we must pray. Wow, it's going to be a long weekend. So he said, this is how we must pray, okay? If it's most beneficial for all sentient beings that I live, may I live. If it's most beneficial for all sentient beings that I die, may I die. That was it. You understand? Call all the students together. Oh yes. So all of them were thinking, we're going to do extensive prayers, we're going to do extensive practices for our Lama. Some of you have seen like the long life puja for the Dalai Lama. It's like, 4 hours and like all this stuff, all this fanfare. So they were coming. Oh yes, we're going to do extensive prayers for our master, for our master's good health. He said that. Two lines. This is how you pray. See you. Bas, as they say in Hindi. What do you think? Can you imagine? Perfect, thank you. Can you imagine? So then you see, let's fast forward a little bit. See, the actual essence of the training in bodhicitta are found in stanzas 10 and 11. Okay? So, this is the emphasis. When your mothers, who've loved you since time without beginning, are suffering, what is the use of your own happiness? Therefore, to free limitless living beings, develop the altruistic intention. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Okay, now 11. All suffering comes from the wish for your own happiness. Perfect Buddhas are born from the thought to help others. Therefore, exchange your own happiness for the suffering of others. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So, this is it. Right? Can you imagine? So this master, he trained his mind in such a way that, oh, these lice, they've been my mother's. You know? It's true. Time without beginning. Right? So, just in this life, we've had a mother who's taken care of us, you know, fed us, clothed us, educated us with much hardship. Then, just as, you know, for us now, if our mother is suffering, you know, then we go to the beach. Huh? No way. No way. So now, to expand the mind and to see, all beings have been our mother. Therefore, you know, not just all beings have been our mother. All beings have been our mother, and now they're suffering. And now they're suffering. So, if I just, you know, pursue my own happiness, what's the use? So training in that mind, then, oh, mother. Can you imagine seeing that? No. I must protect. Please, drink. You know, just like when you were my mother, you fed me from your breast without any hesitation. Now's the time for me to repay that kindness. Please, enjoy. Can you imagine? Okay. That's a little bit advanced. Okay? A little bit advanced. Maybe a lot bit advanced. Anyway. But you see, some of us might be a little daunted. Okay? Might be like, I have to start feeding the lice on my body. Maybe I'm not going to come back tomorrow, you know? So, just hold on. You know, Shantideva, by the way, have you heard of Shantideva? Yay. You should. Shantideva was an Indian master from the great monastic university of Nalanda, and he composed this text that I've been quoting from, the Bodhisattva Charyavatara, which is translated as the guide to a bodhisattva's way of life. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama has said that everything that he's learned about bodhicitta, this altruistic wish to achieve enlightenment, he learned from Bodhisattva Charyavatara. You understand? That's all you need on the back cover. Right? Okay. So anyway, in that book, Bodhisattva Charyavatara, Shantideva says, until we exchange our own happiness for that of others, enlightenment is not possible. And even in samsara, there will be no happiness. You guys understand? So we want happiness, therefore, we want the best happiness. We want the best happiness, that means we need enlightenment. We need Buddhahood. To get Buddhahood, then we need bodhicitta. To get bodhicitta, we need to exchange our habitual preoccupation with our own happiness with the thought, I must benefit others. You know? The same level of concern that we've had for ourselves since beginningless time, then we need to exchange. So, until we do that, yes, of course, enlightenment not possible. But Shantideva goes even one step further. Even in samsara, there'll be no happiness. Do you guys understand? Think about this, right? What is the thing, you know? We'll get to this later, but all the problems we have in life, right? Just check how much is coming from this I, oh my happiness, oh me. This selfish attitude, right? That thinks I'm more important, I'm number one in the world, right? Really, that destroys our peace even in this life. Living under the control of that mind, even in samsara, no happiness, no peace. Can I give you guys a homework assignment? Can you think about that tonight? Just look back in your life and see these problems. How much has been, the self-cherishing mind? The thought that I'm more important than others. Remember, you see, I'm not at the level where, there's lice and I'm like, oh, yeah, please eat. Go for the buffet. No, I'm not like that. See, what I'm more like, this one, the people cutting in front in line, yeah? Wow, that's my level. So, in Bodh Gaya, I was just in Bodh Gaya, the place where the Buddha was enlightened. You guys understand? And then there's a big queue, a line, outside the temple, the hall, where the Buddha was enlightened. In a big line. So then, someone cuts right in front of me. So, I was in Bodh Gaya for maybe 2 months this winter. It was the first time. The guy, he's Tibetan. He's like, oh, sorry, I'm old. I'm old. The line was probably, a 40-minute wait. So of course, the sharp tongue, right? I say, what happened? I'm confessing to you guys, right? He said, oh, what happens? When you get old, you lose all your shame? Boom! Yeah! I showed him teach him a lesson, right? So, then, what was the problem? You see, what was the problem? The person cutting in front? Or the self-cherishing mind? This is what I have to check. Okay, so you guys check. So now, then, I'm so embarrassed afterwards. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm in the line to see where the Buddha was enlightened, and I'm like, oh, just doing these like zingers on someone. Right? And so I thought, oh my gosh, if I'm not practicing bodhicitta here, when am I going to practice bodhicitta? Okay. So then, we all make mistakes. That's what, So you remember stanza 2? Perfect Buddhas. So actually, only the Buddha is perfect, right? Until we're enlightened, we'll make mistakes. So then, don't beat yourself up. I was beating myself up a little bit. But then, we learn from the mistake. So then I thought, okay, next time I go to the line, I'm just gonna be oozing bodhicitta. Okay? Let's do it, Namjong. So then what happens? I'm in line, and of course, they come. Not the same person, someone else. And I say, okay, yes. Trying to see all beings with my mom, This is the thing, right? When we think about bodhicitta, this is very, very strange, right? We say, I'm going to liberate all sentient beings from suffering and lead them to the highest state of enlightenment, right? Okay? Oh, yes. So then what we have to think? Oh, the person's cutting in front of the line? And think, oh, great. I want to liberate sentient beings from all of samsaric suffering, including the suffering of having to wait in line. So this person, I'm liberating them from that suffering. Okay, nice. But then you know what happens? There's a security guard who then comes to scold me and saying, there's one line. Stop letting people go in front of you. So, what comes to mind is like, why are you blaming me? Blame these people who are cutting in front. Anyway, but I didn't say. But, it's like that sometimes. In samsara, sometimes you can't win. But the point is, even when the mind freaks out, right? It's hardest to control the mind, easier to control the mouth and the rest of the body, right? So even the mind freaking out, and you have that perfect thing to say. Wasn't that nice? Oh, when you get old, do you lose all your shame? That was really nice, right? And I thought of it on the spot. Most of the times when people, mess with me, then it's like a couple hours later, I'm like, oh, I should have said that. That would have really showed them. It happens a few hours later. This time, right on the spot. No, so, by the way, this is not a good example. It's a bad example, okay? But, although that might come, for now in our practice, then, even it comes up, I'm not going to say, as they say, zip the lip and keep your hands to yourself. Even if the mind is freaking out. It's good. And for us, that's what we have to do. Right? So this is one of the messages, right? The adage, start where you are. Right? Start where you are. Why was I talking about all this? It's because, we hear about these stories of these great bodhisattvas. You'll see in the Buddha's own past life stories, he's cutting off his limbs. He's giving up his life to a tiger so the tiger can eat. Here we see the author of this text taking the lice and feeding. And we can be like, oh. Just sneak out the back door. This is too much. Right? But the point is, start where you are. We're not at the point where we can cut off our body parts and give to others. Are we? No way. But what can we do? Can we offer blood? Huh? Can we offer a liter of blood at the blood bank? Huh? Yes. Great. Can we offer a couple milliliters of blood to the mosquito? They take it anyway. Anyway, this is what I'm saying, right? Start where you are means these extensive practices of the Bodhisattvas might be a bit difficult for us now. But remember, training. Training means start with something slow, like those of you who work out. You run a marathon, right? The first day you don't run 26.2 miles, right? You start slow. Then you gradually build. Like this, with our practice. So what I'm saying is, don't be daunted. Don't be, thinking like, oh, these Bodhisattva practices I can't do. I'll never be able to do. Therefore, let me not even do something. Right? Yikes. Okay. You guys understand? So that's the greatness of the author. Greatness of the author. So the greatness of these teachings if you put these 37 practices, into your life, you'll become a perfect Buddha. As simple as that. So anyway, in the, maybe some of you know, but see, part of why this text is so cherished and loved in the Tibetan tradition from centuries ago, even now, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, other great masters teach this text again and again. Because even in what do you have, 5-6 pages? All the practices that you need, it's like all the teachings of the Buddha have been distilled into these 5 pages. So, as Kapazine mentioned, I'm sitting in the monastery 20 years, right? People say, why do you have to study so long? But in any case, sometimes I ask that too. But in any case, you see, in those 20 years, we really study 5 texts. 5. But then we those 5 texts are in Sanskrit, and we study the commentaries by the Tibetan masters, and then the commentaries on the commentaries, and then the commentaries on the commentaries on the commentaries, right? To understand. But even those 5 texts are like the encapsulation of all of the sutras. So, by the way, these practices, it wasn't made up by Gyaltse Tokme Zangpo. They all came from Buddha, right? But if you look in the Buddha's teachings, there's, the sutras, and there's 108 volumes of sutras. Volumes. 108. So, we have time to read that much? No. So then, over the centuries, through the kindness of the lineage gurus, they then wrote these commentaries for us. Distill. What's the essence? give me the executive summary, right? So then a genre of teachings called the Lamrim came in Tibet. Lamrim, Lam is path, Rim is stages. So the stages of the path to enlightenment. So all those 108 sutras, volumes of sutras, then if you just read the sutras themselves, a little bit confusing, because there's actually an order which you should practice, right? There's more kind of beginner practices, there's intermediate level practices, more advanced practices, right? And the order of the sutras is not in the order of practice. No way. So then, this Lamrim, stages of the path, this genre of teachings, came up, which then arranged all the various practices in order to lead someone from our current state all the way to full enlightenment. Amazing. Okay? All right. So this text has all of that. All that the Lamrim has to offer in terms of stages of practice, laying them out in order, it's here. But that's not all. So, we're talking about the Mahayana, right? And the emphasis on Bodhisattva. And in the stanza there, right, that the main practice of bodhisattvas is then to exchange the preoccupation with our own happiness for the happiness of others, right? And the mind that is the obstacle to that is what we call the self-cherishing mind. Self-cherishing mind. Okay? So, again, not again, for the first time. See, when you study, you have to understand that sometimes the definitions of these specific terminology in the Buddhist philosophical context is different from what you might talk of, in the world. Okay, so we say self-cherishing. The self-cherishing mind is something to be abandoned on the path. Okay, but wait a minute. Cherishing in general means just to take care of oneself, right? To care for oneself. So that doesn't mean we don't care for ourselves anymore. It has a specific meaning or context here. Means, in brief, you're one person, right? All living beings, countless, right? So let's just, as a mental exercise, right? If we take a step back and look at it as a third-party observer, right? And we see, on the one hand, there's one. On the other hand, countless. Who's more important? The countless, right? But then when we look at our lives, when I look at my life, and we exchange that, that one on this side, that's me, right? That's me versus countless. All of a sudden, that one, so much more important than the countless. That is the self-cherishing mind, right? That's a mental mistake. Why would it be any different, right? If we can all agree that the countless is more important than the one, yes. But then, that's me on that side. No, that one's more important. Doesn't make any sense. Yet that's how we live our lives. We're almost out of time. So I'll just end with one story. Okay? You like stories? So I used to live in New York, okay? And, I go out to eat. I come out of the restaurant. There's a beggar. Okay? Asking for money. Sorry, I say. I don't have any change. He says, I take 20s. A 20 is a $20 bill. You know, you understand? Very nice. You guys understand? I'll explain. You see, I had a quite good job at that time, you know? Nonetheless, you see, when it comes time to benefit someone else, right? What is our instinct, right? Do I have change? Means an amount of money, right? Okay, forget about the change. Even if I lost a $20 bill, that wouldn't hamper my purchasing power. I wouldn't be out on the streets. That'd be no big sacrifice on my part. A $20 bill. But I don't even think about giving that. Think about the change. An amount of money so small, so minuscule, that, wouldn't even miss it. You understand? So this is very tasty for me to think about this, you know? Even when we start off on the path, oh yes, compassion for all sentient beings. Oh, I'm going to practice generosity. Oh, look at me, I'm giving to the beggars. Right? You guys think? Do we give the money that jingles, or do we give the money that folds? You understand? So, of course, start where you are. And I'm not going to talk about all these things like, oh, what if they buy drugs or this. This is not what I'm talking about now. I'm talking about self-cherishing mind. Okay? I'm talking about that. And I want us to think, look, when it comes time to benefit others, you know, where do we fall? Just think about it. So, you know, as the Dalai Lama says, you know, if we're going to be selfish, we should at least be smart selfish. Smart selfish is actually benefiting others. You understand? So, yeah. We're out of time. But let me just ask at this point, are there any questions? Ah. Wow. Yes.
How does that work? Being smart, selfish.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. This is a little bit of a joke, right? But see, smart selfish means benefiting others, cherishing others. It's actually not selfish at all. But you remember, see, again, like Shantideva, right? There's no need for a lot of words. The Buddhas, childish beings work only for their own aims, while the Buddhas work only for the aims of others, and look at the difference between the two. So the Buddhas, having cherished others, that's actually the best way to take care of yourself. It's not selfish at all, you know. So that's what His Holiness is saying with smart selfish.
to benefit yourself and helping others.
Yeah.
I have a question, like, especially like you were taking care of others and taking care of yourself. Like, no, like often it's said, how can you take care of anyone else if you yourself are not fine? If you're sick, how are you going to help anybody else?
Yes.
At the same time, well, no, so is that a problem or how is it?
Well, that thought is what the person who's about to become a bodhisattva is thinking. Remember, we were saying, first you need the altruism, right? I will liberate all sentient beings from suffering and lead them to the highest state of enlightenment. But then you think, but wait a minute, I'm not free from suffering, so how am I going to do that to others? Oh, but if I attain the state of enlightenment, I'll be able to, therefore I'm going to attain enlightenment, right? So at a very fundamental level, you're right, and we do have to think that, right? But, you see, remember, there's two jobs we have. Benefiting others and increasing our ability to benefit others. Okay? And at different stages in our path, we're going to emphasize one more than the other, right? So sometimes, even in the Tibetan tradition, there's a tradition of going on retreat for, 3 years, sometimes 12 years, right? And then some people say, oh, how selfish. They're just going off to the Himalayas, taking it easy. It's not taking it easy, by the way. But, they can think that, right? But here, it's kind of like this, right? A doctor, right? A doctor has a lot of compassion, and sorry, just to give you of course, there's many medical ailments, but in Tibet, it's very high altitude, so many people have cataracts, right? A lot of people have vision problems, right? So you could have an altruistic motivation, right? Oh, I gotta help people see again, right? But you don't just take a scalpel to someone's eye, right, without the training, right? So then you go to medical school. At the time you're in medical school, you're not performing any surgeries on those patients in Tibet. Is that selfish?
It's a means to it.
Ah. Huh?
It's a means.
It's a means, yes. So anyway, sometimes, this is the point, right? Sometimes we are in that mode, I'm going to increase my skills. But that doesn't then mean, a medical student, someone comes with a headache, you can give them ibuprofen or something. Don't be like, oh wait, I still have 7 years left in my medical training. In as much as you can help someone else, you do that. Right? So anyway, that the percentage of how much is going to be in the building your skills versus actually actively helping someone is going to vary at different stages in one's practice and one's development. And for sure, Shanideva says, especially on this point of cutting off limbs, until you're ready, don't chop off your body parts and give to others. Please. I should have that disclaimer at the bottom. See, this starting where we are is very, very important. Because for all of us, well, most of us, I hate to say, we're not going to become enlightened in this life. Sorry. we're going to need a succession of lives, many lives actually, where we're training like this. So if that's the case, for all of us, it's much more important that we are practicing 20 years from now, then we get inspired this weekend, and next year next week we go out, we give away all our clothing, all our money, we have the lice come and eat us and all this stuff, right? Then we'll burn out. And that will cause actually an obstacle for our practice over the long term. Okay? All right. There are more people taking pictures than asking questions. It's okay. I know it's your job. I know it's your job. I know you're the boss too. I'm just joking. No, please. I'm sorry. I'm joking. If it were really a problem, I wouldn't joke. I would do like what I did in Bodh Gaya. Sure. Okay, any other questions? Yes?
The motivation of helping others. Oftentimes we do something because we want something. Like, I do something because I want you to like me. I do something for you, I want you to like me. So this is not benefiting you, this is I do to benefit myself.
Yeah.
So I always have to deeply go into my motivation. It's like I'm fooling myself most of the time.
Yes. It's true. So, one of my friends from Hawaii, he's a comedian. And then around Christmas time, there's a saying, right? It's better to give than to receive, right? It's better to give than receive, right? So he put on his Facebook post, it's better to give than to receive. Therefore, I don't give because I'm not selfish. You understand? You understand? So that's wrong. Wrong way to think. And that's why it's funny. See? So the point is, remember, start where you are. Yes, it's very, very hard to have a very pure motivation, 100%, to benefit others. Right? But then what does that mean? Oh, I'm benefiting this person so they like me. Uh-oh, so then I'm not going to benefit them? I'm going to harm them so they don't like me? No. You watch that mind, and then, okay, try to, if we're like at an 80-20, can we get to 75-25? Can we try? Like this. Or, what can we do? Also, this is very nice. Just an example. I went to a fancy university, right? Then every year they get the donors, right? And then they send out this book by class, the names of everyone who's donated. And then if you donated over whatever, 5,000, you're in like this, the gold circle, and your name is in bold, and if you get over this, right? So, then, in my class, you notice, it's like, whatever, 400 people, names, 2 anonymous. You understand? 2 anonymous. 400 people, their names in bold. So, then, where can we identify opportunities like this where we can take the self-interest? That's a very easy one, right? Just say, please, anonymous, right? Or, many things like this. like for example, okay, you made me a very beautiful coffee. Thank you very much, right? So tomorrow, no, don't do this. I'm just saying as an example, right? You make the coffee. You tell someone else, oh, can you give that to Namjong? Okay? Then maybe I think that this person has made the coffee for me. I go, oh, thank you so much. The coffee was so wonderful. You're the best. Right? You don't get any credit. What can we do? Like this. Now, this will come up later when we talk about karma, right? Actually, the ripening effect of engaging in acts of generosity is to gain wealth in the future, right? But the Bodhisattva, they think that, and they dedicate, they pray that, okay, I'm going to engage in generosity, but may whatever positive, fruition, ripening effect, result of this generosity, may it never ripen upon me, but instead, may others experience it. What do you think? Now, of course, thinking in that way, you're actually creating even more positive karma, right? But the point is, I guess, in summation, yes, it's very hard to have a pure motivation, but watch, and then try to identify things. But in general, it's not the worst thing, and certainly don't then use that as an excuse then, oh, I'm not going to help others because I have some tinge of self-interest.
Also because sometimes when you help other people, they're like, why is she so nice? And or she or he, why is the person so nice with me? So that doesn't mean you don't help others,
Yeah.
because they might see you in a different manner. You
Yeah,
just do. I mean, just
Yeah. Yes.
because that's another thought process. That's some.
Yes. It's true. Well, and this is actually, it is getting to another point, and that is it's very difficult to benefit others.
Very different. I
It's
was
very
trying to say that, very different.
Yeah. And that's the other reason why we need to become enlightened.
Why we need to become
Enlightened. A Buddha. No. Because, you see, I mean, they say it like this, right? The Buddha, is the awakened one. I mean, they say in the traditional text, the Buddha is omniscient. Means knows everything. Why that's important, and actually, that is the main reason why we need to become enlightened, is so we become omniscient. So we can know, according to each one's karma, each one's disposition, the right thing to say, the right thing to do, the right way to guide them. Because otherwise, we have the best of intentions.
Yeah, and
Then it's like, we offend that
yes,
person.
it becomes like an offense. Like you're offending somebody.
Yeah.
Even so now to say thank you or like I'm not. That's also like
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. No, I know. You open a door for someone, right? That used to be very chivalrous.
Yes.
Now it's like, I can open my own doors. I don't need you.
That's American style.
Well,
So you just take it the way it comes and just.
that's the thing. So that's the thing, right? That's why we have, remember, there's 37 practices of bodhisattvas, but then there's 6 perfections. But at the essence, there's 2. There's what we call method and what we call wisdom. So the primary method is bodhicitta, compassion. But that is like the 2 wings of a bird. Compassion, compassion. Not enough. We need wisdom. Wisdom that knows what to do, in what situation, to whom, how much, when to back off,
Yeah.
when to engage. We need all that.
All that.
So that's why we need the complete practice. Yes. You had a question? No, you, sir. Did you have a question? No, okay. Okay. So, believe it or not, my intention was to complete this text over the weekend. So where we've covered, it doesn't even have the stanza number 1. Actually, the real body of the text we haven't even gotten to. Okay? Huh? What? No. That was a preview. That was the teaser. We've covered the first 2. We've teased 10 and 11. But don't worry. Because actually, if you've understood what we talked about today, you're almost there. Right? What do you think? Yeah. Everything else then is kind of easy. Right? No, really. You think I'm joking? No, really.
I want to clarify something.
Please.
Is Shanti Deva is same as Shanta Rakshita, or is they both different?
Different.
Different?
Yeah. Okay? Nonetheless, we do have a lot more work to do this weekend. Okay? Because especially, it was advertised. Analytic meditation, right? We haven't talked about that yet. Okay? We will. We will tomorrow. Okay? So in any case, let us pause. We'll press pause today. Come back tomorrow. What time? 10? Great. Yeah, 10. And we'll go till about 5 something again tomorrow. Okay? Yeah? So yes. Obviously, you don't have to tell me. Self-cherishing mind, telling me how to do my job. I'm joking. Okay, so at the beginning, remember, yeah? At the beginning, we set a very positive motivation. We sustained that motivation through our time, I hope. Then at the end, we do what's called a dedication. So, we've created a lot of positive energy in our time here together. And so now, that energy, we direct it in a way that's most beneficial. And the best thing to do is direct it in accordance with our motivation. Right? So we can think, and please think, that due to the positive energy that we've created in our time here together, may all living beings, as vast as the vastness of space, be instantly free from all their sufferings and attain and abide in the perfect happiness of full enlightenment. Right this second. So how does that happen? Right? Well, the main cause, is this mind of bodhicitta. So then we also dedicate that due to the positive energy that we've created. Then may all sentient beings, who haven't generated the mind of bodhicitta yet, may they generate the mind of bodhicitta. And then them, as well as those who have already generated the mind of bodhicitta, may never decline, may never diminish, but increase more and more. And then sentient beings, by having generated bodhicitta, this altruism, for each other, you know. May then there be no war, terrorist attacks, quarreling, fighting, no more natural disasters, famine, sickness, anything undesirable in this or any world in the entire universe from now until, you know, all sentient beings are enlightened. May these undesirable things never occur again, you know, due to the power of our positive motivation. And then also, you know, for sentient beings to become, you know, complete Buddhas, remember, arises from accomplishing the excellent teachings, and this depends on knowing the practices, right? So then, may all sentient beings also always have, you know, access to spiritual masters teaching the unmistaken path, right? And may all the holy gurus who are in this world have long and healthy lives, and may they continue to guide us, teach us, and benefit us. Particularly, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And then, yeah, why not? This place, Tushita Goa, yeah? May it become, you know, just like Nalanda, just like Vikramalashila, right? May it be a unbelievable source of learning, you know, practice, meditation, and anyone who comes to a class, to even a meditation, who even sees a flyer, who volunteers, who supports the center in any way, even if they merely hear the words Tushita Goa and they say, oh, no, I don't want to go to that place. If they make any connection with this place, may they never again, you know, experience any kind of suffering again and quickly attain the state of enlightenment. Why not? That means all of you, by the way.